How's it going, y'all? We're back with another one. Today I wanted to do something different. It's not a concept I would explore in my own story, but it was a fun little experiment. And based on the title of this video, you know what I'm talking about, at least if you've seen the show. I wanted to do different variants of my OC, Celeste, because mainly I've been seeing art of like, what if these different characters had their own type of Invincible war with just a bunch of their evil alts, and I figured, why not do that for myself? A nice little distraction while I do other things in the background. Little did I know, it took longer than expected. Cause all these different alts, like in my back of my mind, I'm thinking like, what happened to them to make them so different from the main one? And like, what's so different, whether it be physical or morality standpoint, and having to come up with that, at least in my head, not having to think too much about it, but it's just me. Like some variants I favor more than others, and I feel like I might reuse their design in the future, but as far as like putting it in a story and just having a variant all for just alternate universe story, that's not really where I want to take my characters. But it is nice to think about. Whether I change my mind in the future, who knows, but yeah. And at this point, you see I was getting like a little tired doing all these portraits, at least doing the same one over and over again. So I just started off making just a base little face. That way I can just keep on reusing it and just go about my day. And also, this is one of my favorite variants. This is like, what if she was raised on Olympus instead of the village she was born in? You know what I mean? And it's like she has a more uppity view of herself and just lack of regard for mortal kind, as opposed to our current selves, more endearing to those who more or less don't have power to speak for themselves. As you can see, she's looking down on those she deems beneath her. This is Olympia raised Celeste. I was talking to one of my friends about when I was doing this, and they were like, Celeste was already a crash out, and you're gonna make worse, more evil versions of her. And I'm like, yeah, she's not even that bad, but considering he knows all the details of her story and all that, I'm like, yeah, she could use some work, but compared to these other Celeste, she's an angel. At least the stuff I've imagined they've done in their story. Like this alt right now, I consider it is the one that returned home when the derelictfruit asked them to. And not only that, but they became worse and relished in the power. Essentially taking down our brother and her sister, me and the only child left of her lineage, and essentially a double agent for the Empire and the derelictfruit, but they're only looking out for themselves. This is Prodigal Celeste. Like, these are fun concepts to explore. Had I taken the story in a different direction, but it's just nice to dream. Like, if I were to give my own characters AU of their own, that's essentially what I'm doing here. But yeah, this one was also one of my favorites, if you can tell. And like this cyborg one and the space pirate ones, which I don't know if I recorded it or not, but yeah, this whole page took a while. You'll see it And like in the end, the ones I chose to render versus the ones I just did a simple multiply layer with. And after this one, the next variant I have in mind is the Undead Celeste or Zombie Celeste. You take your pick. This next one is like reanimated after a tragic accident happened, and Persephone, Kore, decided to bring her back to life. I guess her best wishes, but the spell went wrong, and as a result, she wasn't able to restore her fully, but she still had all her memories and all her spite from her past life. That being said, once she was able to assess what happened to her, essentially process who and what she is now, she lashed out, essentially getting a drop on Kore and those that are around her, and just going about turning everyone around her into beasts like her. Eventually the start of a space zombie virus, and as zombie cell. And for this next and last one, we have semi-perfect and perfect cell, whatever you want to call her. She's where it's the closest one to our Celeste. She's even wearing the same spacesuit we had shown in chapters 3 and currently 4 of the comic, where instead of relying on her magic, she still had her hemiphagia and chose to ingest it, essentially giving it to the power, but it takes over. As you can see, she partly resembles it with the mandibles coming out of her face and all that. This one was also one of my favorites to illustrate and come up with, but that's it for now. I'll catch you in the next one. Like, subscribe, all the YouTube things, and as always, stay rotten. Peace.